doing here?
No wonder we're not further along, Dad. Listen to who you're associated with. So, anyway, all right, let's get into it, man. Just a little bit of stuff around the Packers and around the league. First things first, man. Josh Jacobs in his first season as a Packer, 91.3 rushing grade. That was fifth best in the league. 89.2 receiving grade for a running back. That was second best in the league. 88 missed tackles forced, tied for first in the league. He lands at number 49 number 49 on the list and number 5 on of the running backs on the PFF top 50 list.
Here's the guy.
It kind of feels like he's a little low on this list. Am I wrong there, or do you think that's about right, man?
I think they're missing. I think they had a little confusion with their numbers, I think, there, because those are pretty high numbers. I mean, Derrick Henry tore it up. You had Saquon tearing it up, but I mean, he's got to be 3, right? I really don't know who'd be above Derrick and Saquon besides Josh, just because maybe he didn't have enough yards, but the dude tore it up for us, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny, they tallied the stats. All right, he's tied for first.
Yeah,
he's second. He's fifth. All right, he's number 5 on our list.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I thought that was cool. And listen, tip your cap to Brian Gutekunst, right? Absolutely knocked that free agent signing out of the park. And Josh Jacobs, one of the 2 big signings we had last year coming out of free agency. To me, that's what gives me hope about these free agents. If we have time, we'll dive into tonight, some of the new additions, because there are some people that look at those free agency additions in our boy Aaron Banks and Nate Hobbs and Mecole Hardman, and they go, this don't look good. I trust Goody when it comes to free agency, man. I'm just telling you right now, he has crushed it during his time here.
Hasn't given you a reason not to trust him. That's the thing. I mean, everything he's done has been. And then on top of big names, he's still able to churn the bottom of the roster and find some gems, moving them around.
Yeah. That second free agent signing that we talked about that Goody made last year was Xavier McKinney in his first season as a Packer. 90.2 coverage grade. That was second best in the league amongst safeties. 8 interceptions. That was second best in the league, period, including cornerbacks, if I remember correctly. And a 56.4 passer rating allowed, or a passer rating when targeted, third best amongst safeties. Might have been overall. I don't know. They didn't specify, but he lands at number 38 and the number 2 safety on the PFF top 50 list. He was the best guy around. Listen, I think we know who the other safety probably is ahead of him. It was Kirby Joseph. As bad as it hurts me to say it, this is how I try to cover these things, guys. I hate the Lions, right? Dude, can't stand them. Fair weather fans, the way that they all of a sudden they pretend like they weren't last in attendance at the end of Dan Campbell's first season. So this wasn't like before Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell finishes his first year. They were dead last in average attendance, and it had nothing to do with the size of the venue. Now all of a sudden they're like, we've always been dedicated.
Yeah, they pretend like those paper bags weren't sold out for 15 years in Detroit. Okay, come on now. That's a joke.
Exactly. And with that being said, I had to run it through the filter of if the tables were turned and Xavier McKinney was on the Lions and Kirby Joseph was on the Packers, I would have to admit Kirby Joseph was better than Xavier McKinney last year. However, it's this freaking close, man. I mean, this close.
I'd also be mad at Kirby Joseph if he was on my team shooting at kneecaps. Like, I want to see snot bubbles. I want the dude to get rocked, but I don't want to see a dude's knee go backwards.
Right. And I'll tell you this, man. If I ever see a Packer intentionally dive at somebody's kneecaps, especially with a leg locked into the ground, I'm going to call it out and go, that's dirty, man. Let's don't do that. Let's don't go that, right?
Trust me, I'm for. I want to let I used to only headhunt and try to clean people's clocks, but you can hit them square in the chest and still knock the wind out of them.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. That's not to say that Xavier McKinney won't boat race Kirby Joseph this year. Right. And I think he can do it. I think that when you watch him play, to me, Xavier McKinney is a much smarter player than Kirby Joseph. Maybe Kirby Joseph is a little more aggressive, is I guess the best way to put it.
Yep.
So Kirby barely squeaked by as the better safety last year, but I'm expecting Xavier McKinney to take that from him this year. Blake B in the chat says Terry McLaurin embarrassed Kirby in the playoffs. Hey, there you go. Keep finding those for me too, Blake. We need all the firepower we can get. So, and I'll tell you, scary Terry McLaurin, nothing to shake a stick at there. That dude is a baller. Holmes, MD1 in the chat said X is him, right? And he is, man. He's dominant. Again, Brian Gutekunst crushed those Sonics.
And being able to shut down the field just by scaring other opponents within, what was it, 5-6 weeks, he was able to scare quarterbacks off of his either shaded side or just a deep, whatever he's covering. That's big. That's big for a defense. You got that boogeyman out there. And then that allows everybody underneath to really do it. Pressure picks, coverage sacks, you can still kind of have those coverage and force force different things up front with that D-line because of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Speaking of boogeyman, this guy right here tweeted out, Tucker Kraft tweeted out in there working on what is that, the squat rack? Is that what you call that there?
That one looks like a deadlift, but he's jumping vertically with the deadlift, that octagon that you can sit inside. But, yeah, squat rack on the right.
Yeah, look at my man. Seriously. Look at the listen, no. Look at the legs. I'll just leave it at that, all right? Look. Breaking news. Tucker's got muscles in his legs right now. Listen, I love the fact that he's in there putting in the work, and we know all these guys are. We'll talk about Matthew Golden here in a little bit, but I think Tucker Kraft's going to really blow up this year, man. And
the fact that he's Clayton 1.5 feet off the ground inside of the deadlift rack. I mean, there's not a lot of room there. You know what I mean? So like that's explosion, probably not fully, bent down or anything like that. I love that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So Tucker Kraft in there putting in the work. I think he's got a legit shot if he stays healthy, and I have no reason to believe he won't. I think he could emerge as a top 5 tight end this year. I kind of felt like he was already there last year. It's just some of the important numbers didn't shake out the way you would want them to lead you to believe that. But when you looked at the passer rating with targeted, when you looked at the yak, and then you looked at the diving catch against Houston down the seam when Jordan looks off the safety and just throws a bullet. To this day, the hardest thrown ball in the next gen stats era was by Jordan Love last year. Go back and watch it. The touchdown to Tucker Kraft down the seam, looks the safety off, and just burns one in there. Tucker, full extension catch. He's got the hands. He's got the blocking's coming along. The blocking's probably his weak point, and you don't look at him blocking and go, he can't block.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's getting better every.
He cares about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's willing to work at it. Hey, that's something that I need to work on in my game. Obviously, I'm not going to let the first guy tackle me, but hey, my blocking needs a little bit of work. And like you were talking about that hardest pass, that was this game, right?
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
I think it may have been, man. I think it may have been. Daryl in the chat says Tucker Kraft wants to solidify being the Yak King, run extra yards while fighting through the defense. Daryl, as he said last year, Tucker said this, Daryl didn't. He said, I'm always going to make the goal is to make the first DB miss. Like, run through the first DB. The rule is you cannot be tackled by one defensive back. Can't happen. Can't let it happen. Love that mindset for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to see what Tucker Kraft does this year. Moving along, boy, I'm telling you, the Rashawn Gary